Good Wednesday afternoon, and thanks for joining us on KARE 11 News Now. I'm Lauren Lemanchek. Developing right now, dozens of people are protesting outside of the Sherburne County Jail, demanding the release of a protester arrested in Minneapolis. Isabella Lopez was arrested during a separate protest at what people thought was an immigration raid at a Mexican restaurant on Lake Street. She's accused of assaulting officers, even throwing a softball at an officer's back, and is scheduled to be in court tomorrow. Now, that federal raid, according to court documents, was because authorities had been investigating the work of an international drug trafficking group. And they say they'd already found 900 pounds of crystal meth at a Burnsville storage unit. Right now, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, is preparing to launch operations, though, in more cities across the U.S. Two sources tell NBC News ICE special forces will be rolled out in 5 cities: Seattle, Chicago, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., and New York City. This comes as demonstrations against ICE enforcement ramp up across the country. This video from Chicago shows people marching in the streets downtown. Right now, several states are keeping a close eye on planned protests Saturday that are set to happen across the country. There's one planned here on Saturday at the state capitol. In Los Angeles, the mayor declared a curfew for the city's downtown area, trying to stop the protests overnight. Now, hundreds of U.S. Marines are on the city streets to, according to federal officials, help local law enforcement, something the governor of California says they did not ask for and do not need. Jay Gray's in downtown L.A. with a closer look.
Well, for the 6th straight day now, we have National Guard troops stationed outside of the federal complex here in downtown Los Angeles. This comes after a night where we saw for the first time a curfew in a 1-mile square block area of this facility. And by all appearances, it seems to have worked. Yes, there were people out after the curfew. We saw multiple arrests. We saw a lot of arrests yesterday, more than 200 people overall arrested, and many of those after the curfew. But again, there was no violent protesting like we've seen over the last several nights. No looting, there were no cars set ablaze. And so to that point, it seems like the curfew served its purpose, and it will, we are told, continue. This is a day when we do expect for the first time to see those 700 Marines who were deployed to this region by the White House on the streets of Los Angeles. And last night, the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, talked a bit about that push.
He deployed more than 700 active U.S. Marines. These are the men and women trained for foreign combat, not domestic law enforcement. We honor their service. We honor their bravery. But we do not want our streets militarized by our own armed forces, not in L.A., not in California, not anywhere.
Along with those Marines, we expect to see more National Guard troops on the ground here today, a show of force that we are told could last as long as 60 days here. That's the latest from Los Angeles. I'm Jay Gray, NBC News.
New this afternoon, President Trump is urging Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to end the war in Gaza. According to two sources close to the president, Trump talked with Netanyahu Monday and the phone call went well. Netanyahu's office said he convened his top ministers Tuesday night after reported progress in negotiations toward a ceasefire deal. Israel's foreign minister cited recent progress in ceasefire talks that also aim to bring back hostages held in Gaza. Right now, a Minneapolis woman is mourning the death of her 2-year-old daughter, who police say died this week in a murder-suicide. Minneapolis police say the girl's father shot her before turning the gun on himself. And now, for the first time, we're hearing from that mourning mother. Here's Raya Katane.
This is Kinsley. Very happy, beautiful girl.
2 days after losing her daughter,
Luckiest girl in the world.
blue skies hover above.
She sure was.
But darkness looms over Trisha Princeton.
She was my happiness.
In 2-year-old Kinsley's big blue eyes is where Trisha found happiness.
She made me want to do good and go far in life. Now I just feel so empty.
An emptiness Trisha is now grappling with after losing Kinsley and her significant other of 7 years in what police are calling a murder-suicide. It happened a little past midnight on Monday at their home on Colfax Avenue North. Trisha says her partner had been struggling with his mental health after losing his father 2 years ago.
And it just overtook him.
Refusing to seek help before Trisha says she watched him take his and their daughter's lives.
He told me that he's going to make sure I live in misery the rest of my life without my baby girl and without him. And then he shot her right in front of me, and then himself. She was going to get a hug from him when he shot her.
In the moments leading up to the shooting, Tricia says she was unable to call 911.
Me and Kinsley were held hostage pretty much in our house, and I was not able to call anyone. I had my phone on me still, but I couldn't let him see it.
She wants others to know that texting 911 is an option, something she wishes she had known before.
I think the whole situation could have been either prevented or a different outcome for sure.
We are here. She's now become family.
Lanisha Gilmer is with a Mother's Love Initiative, a group dedicated to helping people during tragedies of gun violence and domestic abuse.
I have never responded to anything like this before. I was in tears.
She wants others to know they're not alone and help is always available.
Whatever's a comfort to you, just don't be afraid to reach out.
Meanwhile,
I don't think I've met anyone as happy as her.
as darkness looms over Tricia, the light in young Kinsley's eyes
This is her on St. Patrick's Day.
helps her get by one day at a time.
Just knowing I know she wouldn't want me to be sad.
Tricia hopes lives could be saved if more people know about the text to 911 option. It's a service that has become available in Minnesota back in 2017, allowing you to text your location and the type of emergency you're experiencing to the number 911, the same way you'd text any other number. Tricia also has an online fundraiser to help her with Kinsley's funeral costs. If you'd like to help, we have a link to it under this story on KARE11.com. Right now, the Minnesota BCA is investigating after a man was shot by police and a woman was found dead in Albert Lea. Authorities say this started as a domestic disturbance call last night. We're looking now at Sky 11 video from that scene today. Police say arriving officers found a suspect and he took off from the scene, leading police on a short chase that led back to a home. After that chase, according to police, the suspect got out of the car and officers fired their guns. The suspect was pronounced dead at the scene. Investigators later found a woman dead at the home. Deputies believe she died before law enforcement got there. The involved officers are on critical incident leave. The U.S. and China have reached a trade agreement. President Trump posted on Truth Social that a deal's done, but it still requires final approval from him and Chinese President Xi Jinping. The deal comes after 2 days of negotiations in London. China and the U.S. essentially are agreeing to return to the framework of a deal reached back in Switzerland in May. That gives the U.S. access to rare earth minerals from China and switches tariffs on Chinese goods coming into the U.S. to 55%. It also allows Chinese students to attend American colleges and universities. That deal fell apart when China restricted shipments of magnets and rare earth minerals needed by U.S. manufacturers. The president said that issue's been resolved and the shipments will restart. It is unclear whether this agreement will lead to a broader trade agreement between the two countries. At the same time across Asia, tariffs paired with delays in shipping are already impacting American businesses. And that includes brides waiting on dresses manufactured in Vietnam, India, and China. A bride from Blaine is less than a month away from her wedding and still hasn't received her dress. Morgan Wolf explains.
My best friend actually was the one that kind of got us together.
The once Spring Lake Park classmates, Marissa Boygert and her fiancé Josh, started dating after college. Now the couple is 3 weeks away from saying I do.
Most things are done, thankfully.
One big detail that's still missing.
The dress. Most important part.
The most important part for the bride.
Marissa, a busy med student, didn't find her dress until December from a local Minneapolis designer. The dress is manufactured in China, so it was rush ordered, and the bridal company was told that it would arrive by June 1st.
The no blame on the bridal company or the designer. I mean, they did everything they were supposed to do. It's just been the customs system that's been the problem.
The bridal company says when the China tariffs ballooned to 145%, they stopped shipping entirely. When they dropped, the company resumed business, and now they are still paying an additional $250 to $500 per dress to prevent passing the costs on to customers. However, customs has bogged down their shipping by up to 3 weeks in some cases.
Marissa's pretty calm about it, and so I'm trying to go with that. But spent a lot of money on the dress of her dreams, and I want her to be able to wear that.
Marissa's mom, Karen, says what's the most taxing isn't the tariffs, but the waiting.
Weddings are stressful, and adding a dress, whether it's going to be there or not, is just a lot more. Yeah.
The dress was $5,000, and with just weeks to go, Marissa's holding on to hope and maybe a backup dress.
To have to spend more money on a dress that isn't the one is terrifying.
They've had other brides calling them like, where's my dress? Where's my dress? Like, it was supposed to be here. But I don't know if anyone's wedding is as soon as mine. But
Morgan Wolf, KARE 11 News.
Just try to stay calm, and, things will work out the way they're supposed to work out.
The company says they're very hopeful the dress will be here soon and they'll help with the last-minute alterations. As for other brides who need to order a dress, bridal experts are now suggesting you get it 9 months ahead of your big day. Developing right now, copper and nickel mining will not be happening near the Boundary Waters canoe area. A provision that opened a big piece of land next to the BWCA has been pulled from the massive budget bill currently moving through Congress. In a statement, Minnesota Senator Tina Smith called the move a victory for anyone trying to protect the Boundary Waters and urged Congress to pass her bill, permanently protecting the area. Stick with us. We have more news and weather coming up after the break.